That's good. Good evening. Welcome to the Easthampton City Council meeting for Wednesday, January 4th. The meeting tonight is being recorded and broadcast by Easthampton Media on Charter Channel 183 and live streaming on their e-media website. All consuls and participants in these meetings are gathering hybrid on the executive order by Governor Baker extended to March 2023, which allow us to do so. And remind both the members of the City Council and the public to remain mute until recognized by the City Council President. Also, for the members of the public, please remove your camera for the duration of the meeting unless you are participating in public speak time of the public hearing. Thank you. This meeting is now called to order. Barbara.
Tony Denham.
Here.
Salem Derby.
Present.
Omar Gomez.
Here.
J.P. Kaczynski.
Here.
David Munier.
Here.
Tom Peak.
Here.
Brad Riley.
Here.
Dan Rist.
Here.
Owen Zaret.
Present.
Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes. We don't have any minutes to approve. Public speak time. This is the opportunity to address the council regarding any topic not listed on the public hearing. Anyone from the public that want to participate? I don't see anyone. We'll have a public hearing. Communication for elected officials, board and committee. Any councilor have anything to present to the council? Seeing none. Mayor's communication. Madam Mayor?
Good evening. I have, and was in the packet, a request for immediate consideration as it has no impact on the operating budget to support our retirement board and do another 2% to increase the COLA to take advantage of Governor Baker's legislation that allows local option. You can go up to 5%. So the retirement board has already gone to 3%, and now the ask of the council is to vote in the affirmative and for another 2% that will be retroactive until July 2022. The both our auditor Hadel Patel and Jessica Hebert have taken a look at this and see it as a fine thing to do. Notable, we've also increased the base income to help our retirees keep pace with inflation. That's the introduction and my request, President Gomez. I don't know if you'd like the auditor or I guess my part is done until or if there are questions.
Hadel, do you want to add something?
No, as Mayor mentioned, there is no monetary impact. We will be still on schedule to be considered fully funded if no other changes take place in 2029. And we are number 1 in Western Mass to be fully funded, or currently we are at 88%, which is also makes us number 1 in whole Western Mass from the retirement point of view.
Thank you. Any councilor have any questions to the mayor or Hadel? Councilor Riley?
Thank you. Yeah, this is just a really simple question. So it goes back to July 1st, 2022. So just for clarification, is this done according to our fiscal budget years? So July 1st until June 30th is when COLA rates change? Or is it, by calendar year? You know what I mean? Like, because we're just doing this now. So that's all I really wanted to know.
Who want to answer that, the mayor or Hadel?
I certainly can jump in on why the vote is being put in front of us now is one on the retirement board's meeting schedule, but also the retirement board wanted to assess the financial health of our retirement accounts. And we thought earlier in the year, 3% was definitely something that the retirement board could, or the our retirement accounts could handle. We weren't sure about the next two. So Kimmy Wood, our administrator of retirement, watched the markets as well as talking with the auditors for retirement board and suggested, yes, indeed, we could, at this point in the fiscal year, our fiscal year, that another 2% was well within our financial projections. And it's pretty common to wait with the retirement board to go to like the full extent until you know the financial ground that the accounts stand at. So this is a little different because it's a retirement board that oversees our local retirement bureau and their meeting schedule, as well as when they look at their fiscal strength and make decisions like this.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Any other counselor? Counselor Kwasinski?
Thank you for the information, Hadel. I really congratulate everybody for being the #1 in Western Mass for meeting our financial commitments to unfunded liability. Not to the unfunded liability, but to people who are the retirees and beneficiaries. I believe that, and correct me if I'm mistaken, Hadel, the information that you're referring to was put out in July of 2022, a report of the actuarial for the period ending the previous January. Is that, there's been no other actuarials or other information?
So we go by calendar year for actual story. There is a bigger picture. So what happens is we have December ending, retirement board calendar year ends, they start getting audited. Then we have PARAC people coming in and they do the audit and they do the evaluation. They decide, they give us the schedule, like this is your funding schedule, which is up for your unfunded liability. You decide whether you want to do 5%, you want to do 4.5%, you want to do 6%, 7%. So board decides what is more accurate to do. Having city auditor and treasurer on that board, we see the city side financial. So we don't want board to decide that they can do 7% increase and half of us don't have job. But we evaluate all of those factors in and make sure that we are making financially sound decision. So we have a schedule. When you read that actuary study, there is a page where you can see what we will have to pay for next 5 years. It is upfront big bulk money we pay to PARAC, and out of that account we pay all the retirees. More facts about why this COLA didn't come beforehand is Governor Baker signed this act in November 16th of 2022. 3% went in because that's the normal thing we do for all of our retirees every year. But because of inflation, Governor Baker signed this amendment stating we can do up to 5% and that would be allowable. When it came to board's attention in December, myself had a question and concern about how it's going to impact our capability to get fully funded by 2029. Our ratio at that point for fully funded was 88.5%. How it's going to affect if we make this change onto our fully funded ratio currently we have, and what the forecasting of next 5 years. Should we reduce it to accommodate with full budget picture, or should we increase it to maintain the credentiality we have? We decided to stay with 5% because the effect is only 0.5% reduction. So we came down from 88.5 to 88% fully funded. But the change is only $285,000, which is going to be added at the end of the final payment sometime in 2029. That's where this whole combination of when it occurred at the state level, when it came to board, there was a delay by a month because there were questions and concerns, and we just didn't want it to vote on the basis of because we feel like it. It's more fact-based decision. So then it got approved in January. No, and in the January or the end of December. No.
So, Hadel, I had a
Yeah.
quick question also. The total dollar amount we're talking about is somewhere on an annual basis of between like $22,000 and $25,000. Is that correct?
No,
All retirees and beneficiaries?
no.
Which-
So we pay upfront in July, we pay upfront. So we already got what we will be paying, estimating on the budget.
No, I'm not asking about the city's contribution toward
So,
this. I'm asking about what we're looking at tonight is, do we want to give an extra 2%? If we did, the impact on the retirement budget would be in the area of in the $22,000 to $25,000, I think.
no, there is no effect on this because, as I said, it's a upfront 5% of what is unfunded liability.
Okay.
And that this is going to affect by $285,000, which is not going to come till 5 years from now. But because we do every 2 years, we do actuary study and evaluation of funding ratio, we will have 2 more chances to change the decision what we made this year.
Right.
To make it sure that we are financially making a sound decision, which is going to keep city finances and retirement board in good terms, not jeopardizing some other departmental finances.
Well, obviously, we want to keep the budget intact and also be assured that our retirees and beneficiaries are better served. And I believe this is based on $13,000 of their initial income.
No, 16,000.
16,000 now.
Yes, and
Okay.
also point needs to be noted that we have 35% retirees who are below our $16,000 threshold.
They need the money. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Rest?
Just wanted to let the council and people watching knowing that fully funded retirement pensions is incredible. It shows the strength, the financial strength of this city. No other city is going to have fully funded liability in 2029, if I heard that correctly. And that's huge. You've all read about pensions and how dangerous they are for cities and towns, how they're mismanaged. This city has managed its pensions so well that we'll be fully funded. Fully funded means we don't have to worry about having to fund a mandated retirement pension by taking money from our coffers that could be used for a lot of other things. So I am impressed, and I thank the city's financial team for keeping that going. And this is well-deserved of our retirees. Thank you.
And Councilor Peak?
I'm totally in support of this. I was curious what the president and our rules chair as well thought about in terms of doing this for immediate consideration. Are we going to have to suspend our rules for this, or do you think that this is okay?
No, if I might, Mr. President, it's not an
I
appropriate.
can answer that.
Okay, you go ahead.
Thank you, Councilor, but I can answer that. The answer is no, because we're not making any appropriation, so the answer is no. Any other question, Councilor Peak?
No, that's all.
Madam Mayor, you want to add something else?
Yes, I do. So absolutely the retirement board, as well as Kimmy Wood, the executive director of the retirement board, do an excellent job measuring risk versus gain. This was an extraordinary year of returns. So because of what the future holds, we have a recommend on our projected investment returns. It was 7%, and we went down a little bit, 6.8%, because of the unknown financial, economic key, like inflation going forward. The fund itself is invested. So we are able to do it this year and feel comfortable about it because our investment was over our assumption. That doesn't always mean the case. And as the auditor said, if there are no other changes, including return above our assumption, then 2029, we will be fully funded. And to be fully funded in 29, in the next couple of years, the retirement board might have to make different decisions. But I guess the nuance of this is our retirement investments go up and down in value, just like the markets. We invest incredibly conservative off of a state-approved list, but there is some back and forth. So this was a substantial year, and from really about 2024, the city really focused on getting that percent up, and we've done a really great job from 2024, pushing our contribution meeting obligations with the idea of being fully funded in a retirement system. The one other nuance I would say is that there's unfunded liability, and our other post-employment benefits is a much bigger liability for Easthampton and for most communities in the state. So there's still unfunded liability that's outside of our retirement accounts. So just to clarify, not have anybody surprised next year if the return of the ask is different.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other council have any question or concern before I take the motion? Yeah, she's not part of the council.
Adel has her hand.
Yeah, I know, but she's, I'm asking if any councilor have any question or concern. If the council doesn't have any, I will take the motion.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, I have
I will
to
take the
read it.
motion.
She's
Yeah.
got it.
Councilor Rist.
If no counselor objects, I will read the motion for the increase in retirement, and hearing no objection. I move that in accordance with Chapter 269 of the Acts of 2022, the City Council approves implementation of the local retirement system option to increase the cost of living adjustment, COLA, for fiscal year 2023 to 5% of the base amount specified pursuant to MGL Chapter 32, Section 103.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to increase 5% in local retirement COLA option. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Barbara.
Connie Denham. Aye. Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Yes.
David Munier.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Dan Rist.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Anything else?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Correspondent, an announcement from the President or Vice President. I don't have anything. Do you have anything, Vice President? No. Seeing none, reports for standing committees. Finance, Councilor Rist.
The Finance Committee will meet on the 11th, which is next Wednesday at 5:15, to discuss the library operations, fiscal operations accounts, and as well as the new business for the stabilization accounts today. That is all, Mr. President.
And you have a meeting next week.
Next week, 5:15 in Conference Room 1. It'll be hybrid.
Thank you, Councilor Rist. Public Safety, Councilor Sarek.
No report.
Do you schedule a meeting yet or no?
I did, but I want to keep you in suspense.
Okay.
No, it's, I can announce it now. It's not till February. We will be meeting, there'll be a couple meetings between now and then, but now since you asked, Mr. President, we will be meeting on February 21st at 6 p.m. in room 1.
Thank you. Appointments, Councilor Riley.
We have not met since the last city council meeting. I do understand that there's going to be new business, so the next meeting will be scheduled for January 12th downstairs in conference room B.
Let's conclude.
Yes, this concludes. Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance, Councilor Derby.
Thank you, Mr. President. So ordinance will be meeting tomorrow night in conference room 1 at 6:30. We did get some feedback from the city solicitor on the vacant storefront ordinance, so we're going to be reviewing that and talking about some potentially amended language for the section 6-23, the reproductive and gender affirming healthcare services. and that will be at 6:30 tomorrow night. Thus concludes.
Thank you, Councilor Derby. Property, Councilor Kwasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did have one item on the agenda, the Mass Development Memorandum of Agreement regarding Pleasant Street Mills. The city planner, Jeff Bagg, has asked that that be withdrawn. The reason is that our input is not required since there was a change in the language between Mass Development and the city, which will not require the city to be obligated in the way that they thought we would have to be, and that would require city council approval. So with that being said, I would move to remove from our agenda the item Mass Development Memorandum of Agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to remove the Mass Development Memorandum of Agreement. Any further discussion? Barbara?
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
David Munier.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Dan Rist.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Motion passes. Councilor Kwasinski.
That concludes.
Thank you, Councilor. Rules and Government, Councilor Rest.
Yes, we will meet at 6:15, immediately following the Finance Committee meeting, since Counselor Denham and myself are on that meeting. Next week, Counselor Kwasinski, Wednesday night, 6:15, rules will discuss the charter ideas as well as the resolution from Counselor Zaret.
You need to extend.
Do I? Yep. I haven't looked. Which one?
The
Draft suggestions.
The drafts, I move that the draft suggestions for the charter be extended for 90 days.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to extend 90 day the draft suggestion of charter changes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Barbara?
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
David Munier.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Dan Rist.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham. Salem Derby.
Aye.
Motion passes. Councilor Rest? Let's conclude.
That concludes.
Thank you, Councilor. New business, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move that we send the 3 mayoral appointments, Richard Rishi for the Veterans District, Daniel Buttrick for the Conservation Commission, and Lisa Jaffe to the ZBA to the appointment committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to move the 3 reappointments for the Appointments Committee. Any further discussion? Councilor Riley?
So to clarify, clerical error, it should be the Veterans Council. 2 separate committees, that it was incorrectly written when the paperwork was received.
That's fine, we can fix that.
Okay.
Any other councilor? Seeing none, Barbara?
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
David Munier.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Dan Rist.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham. Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye, motion passes. Councilor Rest?
Yes, we have one supplemental appropriation. The amount requested is $3 million to be appropriated from free cash, $3 million, to Fund 84 General Stabilization, $1,200,000, Fund 85 Capital Stabilization, $1,500,000, and Fund 88 Tax Rate Stabilization, $300,000. For the following purpose: to fund the general stabilization to provide stability in the current environment, to fund capital stabilization to meet capital needs, and to fund tax rate stabilization to help reduce the impact of debt exclusions on the tax rate. I move that these be sent to the Finance Committee for review.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to move $3 million from free cash to stabilization funds to the Finance Committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Barbara?
David Munier.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Dan Rist.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham. Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez. JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Look like we do everything we have in our agenda. You want to schedule the public hearing?
Dan, did you want a public hearing?
No, I do not, none at
Okay.
this time.
Okay.
No, not yet. Okay, perfect. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Barbara?
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Dan Rist.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham. Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
David Munier.
Motion passes. See you, everybody, in 2 weeks.
Put those chairs up.
Yeah,
See you, JP.
Big 2024.